Hi, what's going on, everybody? Today we're going to be doing the Volkswagen MQB platform spark plug removal and install. The tools required for this are going to be a deep wall 10mm socket, a 5/8 spark plug socket, a 10mm open-ended wrench that is rather thin, a 3/8 ratchet, a 6-inch 3/8 ratchet extension bar. I'm also going to be using an impact driver with a 3/8 adapter and a magnetic tool tray. To begin, you're going to want to remove the engine cover, and I'm going to be doing a lot of these things one-handed, so please bear with me while the camera moves some. To remove, simply lift up and place it aside. Now first we're going to start with removing the 4 10mm top locking nuts that hold in the coil pack ground wires. For that you're going to need the 10mm open wrench and the 10mm socket. So you can begin on either side that you like, doesn't really matter. Place the open-ended wrench on the bottom nut, and reverse order we'll take off the top nut. Now the reason that you want to use this wrench on the bottom is because if from the factory these are tightened down too much on the top nut and you begin to take it off with either an impact driver or a ratchet, the stud will begin to spin and you won't be able to get the top nut off, and you have to be able to get that top nut off to release the ground wire in order to get to the stud and remove it. Once you've got those removed, just go ahead and lift the ground wires away. Now we're going to begin removing the wiring harness for the coil packs, the diverter valve, and a couple other sensors on here. Start all the way from the right side with this plug here. You may need to use a pry tool. The plug right here, you will slide the gray tab back, push down on the tab, and slide the plug out. The camshaft actuator plugs here are simple, just snap on. There's 8 of them. Make sure to remove all. Once you've got all of those removed, begin removing the coil pack harness rather. These can be a little tight. You'll hear them snap. You want to go ahead and loosen all 4 of them and lift the harness up all at the same time. Sometimes they will snap back on you. Once you get it loose, go ahead and remove this tab here. Slide back, lift up. Now you're going to grab the harness and lift it up in a way so that you can expose all 4 of the coil packs. Now with either your 3/8 wrench or 3/8 socket, ratchet, or your impact driver, you can go ahead and start taking out the 10mm studs that are holding the coil packs in place. Place those in your magnetic tool holder. Now my car is a little bit warm, and I recommend that when you do this you have the vehicle warm just a little bit. If it's not, they are kind of difficult to remove, but since it is warm, you can literally take 2 fingers and pull them out. Now on the inside of these is a spring. Make sure that that spring is in there. When you take it out, if it's not, you need to fish it out from there and replace it back in. Check for the spring, it's in there. And as you can see, that spring did come off. So we're going to go ahead and pull up and pull it out. Now these go in with the tighter coil long end goes in first in these. You simply just take it, drop it back in, and take either a Phillips head screwdriver or some kind of piece that you can and push down. And I'm not going to do it right now because it's going to be hard to do with two hands, and so I'm still trying to hold the camera. That one stayed in. Once you've gotten all the coil packs out, you begin using your 5/8 spark plug socket and your 3/8 ratchet with your 6/6 extension on it. You place it into the cylinder head, give it a little wiggle on there until you feel it set in with the spark plug, and loosen it up. I just like to unratchet it one time and then go ahead and loosen it up by hand. Once it's loose, it should come straight out. Now these are already the Denso IKH24 Iridium plugs that APR recommends for their tunes, but I personally think that it's good to use it on any vehicle regardless of the tune, company, and regardless of stage. These have already been gapped. The recommended gap specs by APR are 0.024 plus or minus 0.02. That means you can either have them at 0.022 or 0.026. In between that range is good. You want to have all four of them as close together as possible. So if you decide to gap them a little closer to 0.022, make sure they're all gapped the same. Now, to put these back in, if you're replacing them, you're putting the new ones in, slide it into the socket like that until it holds. Go ahead and slide it back into the cylinder head. Hand tighten it down. Once it gets tight, go ahead and put your wrench back on. Give it about a 1/12 of a turn just to get it tight in there. They don't have to be excessively tight. You don't want to do that either. The cylinder head is aluminum and you can strip it out. It would take a lot of torque, but just there's no point in torquing them down extremely hard. Go ahead and take that out. Alright, now we'll start back with replacing our coil packs. You want to have it where the connector is facing out. Also be kind of delicate with these connectors here. The walls around it can break. Mine didn't do it from doing the spark plug install. Did it while I was putting in the IS-38 turbo. I believe either the turbine housing or something happened to catch it and broke it off. It still works fine though. I actually have a replacement on the way because I'm OCD like that. But once you get them on there, make sure that it's going down easily. If it starts to be forceful in any way, that could mean that the spring has came out or it's binding on the spark plug. They should be pretty easy to go down. Once you're all the way down, they will still wiggle. They will not be secured until you put the stud in place. Once all four of those are back in, go ahead and flip the harness back over. And you can begin tightening down the coil pack with the studs. To properly install the studs, you want to go ahead and place them down. Start giving them a couple of finger turns to make sure that the threads are in place. If you're going to be using an impact driver or a drill like I am, You want to make sure that they are guided through on the threads a little bit first before you start ratcheting down on them, because you will cross thread them and you do not want to do that. They don't have to be super tight. Once it starts to give you the torque noise like that, you can go ahead and back off of it. Now we can go ahead and start by replacing the coil pack harness first. Put those connectors on. Since they are the largest ones, go ahead and snap those down. Should hear an audible click. Once you get those in, go ahead and start by putting in your camshaft position actuators, or solenoids rather. Put their connectors back on, and with these you want to make sure that you have all 8 of them securely fastened and all in the correct order. If you don't, your car will misfire and it will sound like a Subaru, and we definitely don't want to sound like a Subaru, do we? I didn't think so. Replace your diverter valve or blow-off valve harness. Fuel pressure regulator harness. And not really sure what this harness is here, but remember, this is the one that has a locking slide on it, so you will make sure that that slide is out. Go ahead and slide in the harness. Once it clicks, go ahead and push forward on the gray tab until it clicks. Now we'll go ahead and put our ground wires back on. And I'm going to put the camera back down for a different angle while I reinstall the secure nuts. Alright, once you're back to this point, once again we're going to reuse our 10mm open-ended wrench. We'll start by, excuse me, sorry guys for the little technical difficulty. We will go ahead and finger tighten those down, get them started a little bit. Once again, we don't want to cross thread anything. If you're using an impact driver or a drill like I like to use, it's very easy to cross thread things. Okay, once you've got all those back in place, you go ahead and replace your engine cover. For those of you that don't know, this snaps in by these 4 little studs, here, here, and here. Press down on them firmly, and you're done. If you guys have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments below. And you guys all have a good day. Thanks.